Start the clock.
Good evening, folks. Dr. Freedom here with you. Time for some Doctor Who news. News from in and around the Whoviverse. And, well, you know, this weekend's Omega Files will be, you know, Arrow versus Flash. We're going to compare the two finales, have a good look at them, and then maybe go back and discuss some stuff that happened there all around the whole seasons for each. Because to me, there's been a big difference between Flash and Arrow over the last season. And it's just, you know, something I've wanted to talk about. A little something, you know, new and a little something refreshing. I hope folks get in there and get it, you know, really enjoy this. All right. A lot of people seem to be going on about this whole Game of Thrones thing that happened at the end of the last episode. I'm not going to mention what it is because I know there's some folks out there who have not watched it yet. But let's just let me get this. You're getting offended and throwing a fit over something that happened off screen. It's something that wasn't even shown on screen, the actual act that's supposed to make everybody angry. But if you've been watching this show for going on 5 seasons, and you don't expect something violent, bad, or, you know, something like that to happen, then you are watching the wrong show and you have been wasting a few years of your time. You know, I want to know where all the complaints were back when Daenerys had her little fun with Khal Drogo all the way back in the first series, and she was not into that. You know, yet there was no complaining. There was no fist shaking. There was no mean tweets. There was, oh, I'm going to quit watching the show. It's like, come on, every time there is a wedding in Westeros in this show, or somebody has a wedding near you, chances are something bad's going to happen. Weddings are not a good thing on this show. It's just, oh man, but you know, I can understand why they're upset, but they didn't even show the actual act on screen that's ticking everybody off. If they had shown the actual act on screen, yes, I could understand why they'd be a little bit angry and fist shaking, considering that the actress who plays Sansa Stark, and forgive me if her name escapes me at the moment, it'll hit me in about a half an hour when it's not even relevant, you know, is just barely, I think, turning 18. But at the same time, you don't see it happen. It's just implied, you know, that this is going on off screen. And people are throwing a mean screaming fit. Yet, meanwhile, every day on television, you got people's heads being ripped off. You got zombies being whacked in, you know, zombies eating people and ripping them in 4 or 5 different directions. Yet, this one thing happens, it's not even shown, and people are up in arms about it. It just mystifies me. But, you know, that's my opinion on it. But let's move on. Let's get to the Doctor Who stuff where I really have my head explode, okay? All right, so first up on the docket today. All right, here we go. Over at Fantastic Books Publishing, my Dalek has a puncture. The paperback pre-order is up. Important note right here, this is a pre-order. The book itself is due to be released in electronic format in a few months and launched in paperback at this year's Fantasticon in Hull in October. Now, this is Simon Fisher-Becker's book that he was talking about with us. And, you know, he was a very, very fun, interesting interview. It was a very fun, interesting story about some of the, you know, some of the stuff we talked about. And I'm really looking forward to taking a look at this one. This is, all right, the image here is a provisional placeholder image. It was created by Aaron Gittos. So this is probably not even going to be the cover. We're not sure yet. But if you want to pre-order this book, £8.99, and you can just go right here to this site and get your pre-order in if you want. Like I said, he's a very, very funny fellow, very, very good interview, and I really enjoyed talking to him, and I'm really looking forward to sitting down and having a read on this. Okay. Jumping on over here to the Express. This is mainly covering filming that happened the other day. We found out they're going to be in the studio till Friday when they're going to be out apparently in Cardiff City Center. And this is Series 9. Ingrid Oliver as Osgood and Peter Capaldi spotted filming new episode. And there's some better pictures here. Some really nice pictures. Matter of fact, I even got a really good one here of Jenna. Oh, why is it when I see Jenna with a missile launcher, parts of me just want to launch? Oh, but okay. So if you want some better looking photos, this is a really nice shot right here. I love that one. Go over here to this one. Remember, link below in the description box will take you to each of these articles. They'll be clearly labeled. All you got to do is hit the show more button and boom, the links will be right there in the description box for you to go check them out at your own convenience. So, okay, so very interesting stuff here. Oh yeah, minor spoiler. When I'm being told this scene here on the beach with the parachuting thing and all that is when whatever this version of Osgood is allegedly breaks her glasses. So that's going to disrupt maybe a few fan theories about what's going on. Okay, next up over on the Metro, Doctor Who reason 5 reasons why Osgood should be the next companion. Um, um, you guys can read this if you want. I don't agree with it. Okay, next up, Peter Capaldi and Ingrid Oliver reunite to film Doctor Who Series 9. Once again, more they got some better photos here, different angles and whatnot if you want to check them out. And they just give a quick little overview. Nothing major here, but you might enjoy some of the newer pics here over on the Radio Times. Okay, but Radio Times are a big thing. The only thing I don't like is how Radio Times takes one event and breaks it up into 50 articles. All right, but this is a couple I had left over from yesterday, and I was gonna. I had so many articles up for yesterday because I had some left over from the weekend. But here's one I really wanted to talk about. Stephen Moffat, Peter Capaldi saved Doctor Who. That's right. TV shows dies when they become predictable, says the showrunner who also defends Series 8 ratings of the BBC sci-fi show. All right, quote. Now, we've already killed that. I don't even know why he's bringing that up. There was a little article over on Warp Factor called the Chicken Little Hypothesis, and I extremely recommend you go look that article up because he actually did put the Series 7 ratings right next to the Series 8 ratings where you can sit there and look at them. And right there, the proof of the pudding is Series 8 actually did better on a lot of episodes than Series 7. The ratings went up, not down. I don't know where that crap got started, but okay. A show dies when it's reliable like a pair of old slippers. If any reviewer says that about a show, that show is gone within a year, he explained to the Royal Television Society at that event. Shows die when people say, "Oh, it's quite good. I quite like it," and the new show is old now. So this had to be a reinvention. Now, Capaldi's colder and more ruthless take on the Time Lord has been a hit with RadioTimes.com readers, who considered the actor the best in the role in a poll that was conducted over the last few weeks below, as well as fans and critics who have been almost universal in their praise. So right here, look at this. This is the Radio Times poll. 45.2%, he's the best Doctor ever. 37.5%, he's good, but he's not my favorite. And then 12%, it's too early to tell, I'm undecided. And 8% say he's rubbish, bring back Matt Smith. 8%. That's just a small poll there. All right, Moffat acknowledged that some might have found it harder to warm to this darker Doctor and said it was all part of the plan. Quote, "This has been different in design to make you go, I don't trust him yet. I don't know what he's like. What's he going to do next?" End quote. It's exciting and it makes the show new again. If people say I'm appalled by the new Doctor, I say, yeah, and you're watching it every week. And I've been saying that same thing to a lot of friends of mine. If you don't like it, why are you still turning the TV on? And I've said that about a lot of my own haters, man. I do have haters, which is scary. And I keep telling them, then why are you watching me? Go do what I do to you. Ignore you. I'm not holding a gun to your head. That's what I mean. They're not holding a gun to your head and making you watch the TV show. Okay, indisputably, without doubt, exactly the same number of people watch Doctor Who now as they ever did. There is no drop-off in the ratings, but the way the people watch it has changed. The way they watch it on a catch-up to a far higher degree. In the time I have been doing Doctor Who, the number of people who watch it on iPlayer has trebled. And even if our overnight ratings were our final rating, it would still count as a hit. And I would go check the ratings for yourselves. They have not lagged, sagged, or dropped any way. I don't know where that crap got started at, man. Oh. Okay, jumping here, Steve Moffat on strong women and the idea of a macho Doctor. He was speaking in New York. Showrunner also talked about the potential female Doctor. Now, Steve Moffat's been talking, as he often does, about Doctor Who. Now, this time he was talking about Doctor Who at a BAFTA event in New York to celebrate 10 years of New Who. Now, after a screening of the episode, listen, he answered questions about the show from British expat journo J.C. Stephen. Now, the showrunner addressed criticisms on that the female characters in Doctor Who are weak compared to the macho Doctor. Unsurprisingly, he disagreed. He said, quote, the women in the show have always been hugely strong. They've always been kind of the main character. I get in trouble all the time for saying this, but you can't make a show about a man who doesn't really change, apart from his face and entire personality, and has no interior life, who is unimpressed by everything. You have to make it about the person he has the relationship with, end quote. Now, Moffat pointed out that, listen, Clara has much more dialogue than the Doctor. He goes, I never told Peter, he cracked up. Now, then he continues on. When he was asked about the possibility of a female Doctor and whether that deprived the show of a prince-like romantic male lead, Moffat was unconvinced. He goes, quote, there's an aspect to it where you could say that if you make the Doctor female, you'd lose a fairly unique male role model. I'm not sure if I'm completely persuaded by that because I don't think of the Doctor as a role model of Doctor Who. Then we went into this yesterday. Yeah, we've already covered that part right there. See, I like going through these because, what do you call it? There's different parts of different articles other people's miss. And so we've already gone over that part, but if you want to read it again, I'll leave it up here for you. Okay. Steve Moffat. It's funny watching Peter Capaldi as Doctor pretend he doesn't fancy Clara. He's always besotted with his companions, even though he's trying to pretend that he isn't, end quote. Now, this has been going on since the original show. I'm talking, this has been going on since all the way back in the Hartnell era. I don't know why this is mystifying. And okay, in fact, okay, now, buckle up, Whovians. It looks like there might be more risk of hanky-panky in the 12th Doctor's TARDIS than we'd been led to believe. In fact, according to the show's head writer Steve Moffat, the sexual tension between Peter Capaldi's Doctor and his companion Clara, played by Jenna Coleman, has been bubbling away all this time. Now, Danny Pink would not be happy if he was still alive. Quote, because we're in a different place with the Doctor and Clara in the modern series, it's been a while since I've seen the early stages of the 12th Doctor trying to pretend he doesn't fancy Clara. Now, oh, you're ugly, disgusting, stop looking so good. Now, in the truth, I think in most cases with the Doctor, his tragedy is he always loves them more than they love him. That's his story. He's always besotted with them, even though he's trying to pretend that he isn't. And okay, then it's not what his Doctor is concerned with. It's quite a fun relationship, but no, I did call and say I want no Papa Nicole moments. I think that there was a bit of tension with that at first, but I was absolutely at it. So, and yeah, about the whole no flirting thing, we already know about that. So, hey, I hope they kind of keep that out of there, to be honest with you. I've been really enjoying the Doctor and Clara's relationship as it is now. But, compared to what it was, where it was all kissy face, huggy bear, and all that stuff. Okay, Steve Moffat, I expected to oversee the decline of Doctor Who. The showrunner says he now expects Doctor to go on forever, but when he first took over, he thought he would preside over a gentle, respectable, and decent decline. Now, Steve Moffat predicts that Doctor will now go on forever, but it means that when he first took over from former showrunner Russell T Davies, he thought the show's popularity would begin to wane. He goes, I'll be honest, I thought that when I took it over, it was more or less said to me, I took over about halfway through the 10 years of New Who. I thought that I was there to preside over a gentle, respectable, and decent decline, because that's what happened at shows that run for a long while. Because they don't plunge off a cliff, but they go gently down. Every big show gets slightly less big. That's a reality. Now, 5 years later, after a very different story to the one he expected, Moffat's belief in the show has only increased. He goes, as an entity, Doctor Who will go on forever. I think it will go on from time to time, but then it will just come back. It will go off from time to time, but then it will just come back. If axing it for 15 years in 89 didn't work, I'm not sure what would kill it. Okay, now this one, I've put a couple different things up, and we'll find out why in a minute. Episode 11 of Series 9 is Moffat's most challenging yet. Now, Steve Moffat's admitted that Episode 11 of Series 9 is proving to be one of his most challenging scripts to finish yet. Speaking at last week's Back to New York panel, he said, quote, I've got a script where I've set myself a ludicrous challenge. When Episode 11 comes up in the next series of Doctor Who, you'll just see just how ludicrous a challenge I've set myself. Dear God, I'm in a state of panic about it. Even now, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, when I get back tonight, could I just try another way of doing it, remaining calm and knowing that even though the director is joining next week, you're going to have to wait until it is right. Now, if you want to watch that particular thing going on right here, this is the interview with JC Stephen. It's right over here on Doctor Who, and it's about 45 minutes long, so it's a good sit down to listen to it. So here it is, linked here to this particular article. And lastly, just for a goof, 9 questions we want answered by Doctor Who Series 9, and I threw this over on Warp Factor. A couple of them are pretty obvious. Where's Gallifrey? How did Missy escape Gallifrey? Was Missy really the woman in the shop? Is there room in the TARDIS for a new edition? Is Osgood really dead? Where did Orson Pink come from? What's up with the Doctor's appearance? That's right. 8. Who is the Magician's Apprentice? Who is the Doctor's 4th wife? And that's from an offhand remark Clara, I think, made back in that one thing, Death in Heaven. Okay. I thought it said 10 things. Oh, okay. Or is it 9 things? Oh, well, I lost track. So 9 things. That's right. 9 questions we want answered by Doctor Who Series 9. Okay, so that's all I got for tonight, guys. Keep in mind, Omega Files this weekend is going to be Arrow versus Flash. We're going to compare the 2 series finales. and see, you know, which one we think is better, which one we think is more cool, you know, more cool. We'll also discuss maybe a bit about, you know, what went on over this, you know, last series of both of them, and this last season for both of those particular things, and maybe even sit down and just have a chat about what we'd like to see in the future. You know, whatever pops up. This one's going to be like almost no format. We're just going to have a little fun with it. We're going to let you keep this one loose and free. So that's all I got planned for the Omega Files for this weekend. Now, things are going to get tricky because I got Saturdays coming up to work. So by the time I get bounced back a bit for the next couple weeks after that, I got to see what's going on with my work schedule. Also, I hope everyone enjoyed the Sophie Aldred interview as much as I did just doing it. I can't praise and thank her, her and her agent enough. They were very, very friendly, very, very nice, made it very, very easy. And she's just adorable. She's very, very nice to talk to. I'm hoping, to get the Q&A session, with her booked up in the near future, so we can sit down with, maybe a small panel, maybe 3 or 4 people, and just have a small Q&A session with Sophie Aldred, and, maybe find out a little bit more than what we did in the interview. But until next time, guys, take it easy, take care, have a good one. I'm out of here.